Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Secrets of Writing Engaging LinkedIn Articles digital event hosted by CMI Malaysia. My name is Samantha, and I am the International Regional Board Coordinator at CMI, and I will be shortly handing over to Dr. Prabha to begin today's event. If you have any questions during the digital event, you can ask them using the live chat box on the right of your screen, and we shall answer as many as we can during the Q&A. Today's session is being recorded and will be shared with you later today for those who book to attend. The event recording will also be available on the CMI website and CMI YouTube channel. Now over to Major Dr. Prabhakaran, Board Member of CMI Malaysia Regional Board, to begin the event.
Hi, Sam. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. On behalf of CMI, it gives us a great honor to welcome each and every one of you, for I believe will be an exciting learning experience. Do you know that we have 875 million members on LinkedIn and 75 million businesses are on LinkedIn? Thus, LinkedIn gave great potential. And it's a great honor to have my good friend, Amin, who is an authority on LinkedIn in Malaysia. And Amin has been helping thousands of people. I had the privilege of being Amin's student to enhance my own LinkedIn presence. And I'm sure we will be excited to know more about Amin and how Amin's wisdom can help you and me. Let's welcome Amin to the show.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi, Amin. Good to see you again.
It's an honor to be here. I am glad that I'm here. I'm actually looking at YouTube right now. We have like more and more people coming in. Hello, everyone. It's good to see you.
Wonderful. Amin, I know you, and I'm sure many people in Malaysia have been benefiting from you, not only in Malaysia, in many parts of the world, on the art, on the science, and your vast wisdom. But let us take a few minutes before we go on to the detail of today's event. Can you tell us a little bit of your background? And I'd love to hear, and I'm sure the audience are excited to know more about you.
Okay. I think everything is kind of related to one another. So I think I'll start from how I actually got started to be on LinkedIn. So the year was in 2016. Just for your information, I've been in the training and development industry for about 20 plus over years. So in 2016, I was at the peak of my career. What happened at that year, I had like some form of revelation that year that kind of like hit me in the face and said, I mean, you need to start doing your personal branding online. So what happened was, I was so busy doing a lot of trainings, delivering a lot of trainings on an average monthly, in 1 month, I'm delivering about 20 to 25 training days. And it hits me at that time because one of the things that I start to notice is that as much as I'm doing a lot of activity, but because the business model that I had at that time was that a lot of the training comes from an agent or training provider that provides me with all of this opportunity. So most of the time, what I notice is that whenever I'm delivering training, I'm only getting like half of the income from the training providers, right? And that kind of like hit me, and I start to ask myself, why do I really need training provider to do the marketing for me? There and then I start to realize that I am so dependent on training provider, and I have like almost zero visibility when it comes to my personal branding online, that I decided in 2017 that I wanted to start exploring that. So in 2017, I came into the exploration stage where I started creating content. I started to learn about content management. I started to go out there, started to build my brand, to see my presence so that I'll be able to get more clients on my own. But then I started to realize that I got really overwhelmed by that because there were just so many social media platforms out there. I mean, in 2017 itself, we have Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. There's just so many platforms out there that I got so confused that 2 years of actually going out and just being busy, I didn't get the results that I wanted because I'm like basically everywhere, because the advice that I usually got from a lot of the gurus out there was that you need to be on all social media platforms. So I aspired to do that, right? I wanted to go into all of the social media platforms and started to build my personal brand. And towards the end of it, no result because I'm cutting myself thin. I'm tired. I become more stressful. Until one day, I actually had a conversation with one of my mentors, who is a social media influencer on Facebook. His name is Sujimi Muhammad, and during that conversation, Sujimi is a very famous personality in Singapore and Malaysia. So he does a lot of viral content, and one of his content actually goes up to about 2 million on Facebook. So it's consistent for him, yeah. And I sit down with him, right, and I had a conversation. And I start asking myself, "Am I doing this right?" Right? And he told me this question again. I mean, out of the people that you wanted to make an impact with, right, which platform are they in? Are they really on Facebook? Are they really on Instagram? Are they actually on any of these other platforms? So he asked me a direct question: what kind of clients do you want to target? And I told him straight out, most of them are corporate clients. I want to work with professionals because I've been doing training for about 20 plus over years. Those are the group that I can relate to. And he said, maybe perhaps you should check out LinkedIn. And I was like, during that period in time, I had this one negative assumption about what LinkedIn is. I always thought that LinkedIn is a very constipated platform to be in. Okay, why do I say that? I say it as a constipated platform because the element of fun or the element of excitement is being taken out because everyone has this mindset that professional needs to be dry. That's the kind of mindset that people have when it comes to LinkedIn. And he just showed me this another idea. Maybe what you want to do is that to make yourself a little bit more fun and exciting, and just to color LinkedIn in a very different way. And that was the benchmark for me. That was like the aha moment for me. And I actually studied LinkedIn for about a few months. 2000 and this is somewhere in the mid 2018. I decided, you know what, let's go all out. Let's just start creating content there. Just start connecting with people there. And the interesting part is when I opened up my LinkedIn profile at that time, it was still the same picture that I had 10 years ago, 10 or 15 years ago. At that time, I was still embarking into entrepreneurship. I was still working for another training company at that time. And it was designed in such a way that's very much resume centric. Because what happened at that time was I wanted to use LinkedIn to look for a new job because I was not very happy with that particular company. And then after that, I decided, you know what, I'm not going to go look for more job for another job. I'm just going to start doing my own business and all that. And that's what happened at that time. Yeah. And true enough, when 2018 I started doing it, I start to see a lot more potentials and opportunity because I'm more focused into one platform. So I think maybe just to embark on some knowledge and learning for everyone who wanted to build their authority online, my biggest lesson when I just started is to focus on one platform first before you go into omnichannel. And that's what I did in 2018. 2018, I just go all out into one platform, build my numbers. I only had, I think, about 400 or 500 connections at that time. And as I build it up to about 20,000 connections and followers I have today, all of those started because I started to focus. So the main ingredient when you want to do this is to really focus, right? And that's how the whole entire thing started for me. I started to get more engagement, a lot more sales coming in, a lot more opportunities to basically build my brand, not just in Malaysia, but also outside Malaysia. And I think the most interesting part is that last time I used to struggle for sales, where I will chase for sales, but nowadays sales comes to me instead, which is I think it's an effect because of the personal branding activity. Yeah. So 2019, when I started to become more and more engrossed into LinkedIn, I had like a couple of friends that comes to me and say, "Hey, can you just teach us how to do this?" So it was really an accident. So I said, "Okay, never mind. We just do like a simple class, and then we start from there." And that was how everything started. Because I start to see passion in actually getting more professionals to go out there and build their brand. There's a lot of heroes out there. There's a lot of people who have the capability to make an impact in the world. But I think during the presentation today, one of the biggest realizations that I also noticed is that a lot of these professionals are afraid to showcase their capability. And that's actually a very interesting thing that I discovered since then, when I started to teach people on how to do it, and start building up my own community in terms of how you can actually build authority online. So that's how everything started for me.
Wow, wow, wow. I love the idea of creating content which is fun and exciting. And not, I love when you said the professional material don't have to be dry. I mean, with due respect, the academics, high impact journals, sometimes it will be so tiring to read, and especially in today's highly competitive, busy environment, people may not have the right time to do it. And imagine if you can summarize and put it in a fun and exciting, engaging, without compromising the professional integrity of the documents. That will be amazing. I mean, I hear you. There are some professionals with a lot of experience, but are not really comfortable to put in or showcase their expertise. If I got the number correct, more than 90% of LinkedIn subscribers are merely passive users, if I may use the word, and not content creator. What a waste. Why is it? And what would be your suggestion for someone to get started? I mean,
Okay. I want to go back to the numbers because I think the number is actually quite scary, but it's also an eye opener for me as well. So this is something that is not just on LinkedIn, but I think it's across all of the social media platforms, right? So they did the research on this, and what they found out is that if we take a look at the total connections that you have, or the total populations that you have within the platform itself, the people who dares to consistently create content and are actually making an impact is only 1% of the total population.
wow.
1%. So that means if we take a look at it, right, out of the now it's almost about 900 million subscribers to LinkedIn. 900 million. I can show you the stats for that. Only 1% of them are actually creating stuff, right? Which it was intriguing for me to study it even further. Only 1% wanted to create content. Another 7% to 7 to 10% are the people who will just be looking around. They will be one of those people who will be engaging with content. They will be networking with people. They'll be commenting on other people's stuff. Those are the 10%. The other 90, I would say another 90%. So 1% content creator, another 9% are the active engager. The other 90% are the one who will just be looking around and just checking things out. And the most interesting part in my professional career for the last 5 years of being active on LinkedIn is that most of the people that actually purchase my product and services are the 90%, not the 10%, which is another interesting number as well. So here's something that's really interesting that get me to be like, why? Okay. We did a survey within Popcorn itself, where we actually interviewed, I think, a total of about 1,000 people that actually came to our program to see what are the top 3 reasons that stops them from creating content. The most interesting part is that the number 1 is imposter syndrome. People thinking that they are not good enough to share. They are not good enough to create content. They don't have anything to offer to the world. And this is something that really gets me like, wow, this is interesting. And the people that says that they do not have anything to offer are the top performer within the organization itself. So we're talking about C-levels, right? The senior managers who has vast experience and wisdom that can be put into the platform, but they are not willing to do that. Okay, so imposter syndrome is number 1. Number 2 is that they don't see the benefit of it. People are still stuck with the idea that, for me, when I am leading the organization, it's enough for me to just be seen within the company itself. They don't see the benefit of them going out there to talk about the company and to represent the company and the organization, right? Only a certain percentage of people who are doing that. So number 2 is the commitment, and they don't see the value in it. Yeah. and skill only come in later. It's not that they do not know how to do it, but they just feel that, I'm not comfortable to do it. So those are some of the reasons why people are not contributing. And we ended up, okay, this is the after effect on not sharing. Yeah, we ended up with we are consuming a lot of rubbish content because the good ones are not taking the lead and they are not leading, which is a very interesting scenario to take a look at. Some of them are scared of what other people will think about them. They are fearful about other people's judgment. And those are one of the top reasons why people are not creating content on LinkedIn. And I personally feel that for me, when I discovered that, I just went into this performance mode and say, okay, if you guys do not want to share, I'll take the opportunity. The 1%er who are sharing right now, who are actually getting the opportunity because they dare to do it. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. Wow. 1%. And it surprises. I know the community of CMI who is listening to us, and the other friends of CMI. I know many of them are experts in their respective field with vast wisdom, hands-on experience from academics, including students. Yeah, I'm sure many students who have done great assignments or even lessons from assignments, feedback from your lecturers and professionals. I'm looking forward for more learning from Amin for us to get started. So, Amin, there could be audience here who are first time have a perception, oh, wow, there's only 1% and LinkedIn gave so much of opportunities. I'm sure we will share more cases about it from your own personal experience. But if someone wants to get started, Amin, what is your suggestion?
Okay. I'm going to give you guys a formula. Would you all want that? Let me know in the comment in the chat if you guys would like to have the formula for this. Say yes in the comment. Let's get some engagement. If you want to have some formula for this, let me know in the comment. Say yes, you want to have some formula. Nice. I'll show you the whole entire formula for this. Yes? Karen, yes?
One.
Excellent. Please. Okay. All right. The secret to this, hold on, yeah. Let me just going back to Sam. Can you help me with the slide? Okay. Sam, are you there?
Yeah, the slide is up, ma'am.
Slide is up. Okay, good. Okay. Now, when you want to start, don't look at it as just one single step. Look at it as a whole overall framework in terms of how you want to position and build your authority online, right? For me and also my community, because we are working with a lot of entrepreneurs, the main idea of what we want to get in terms of the tangible results are the profits and the income for the company. That's one of the main idea, yeah. But we believe that if you really want to get that income today, hard selling doesn't work. And that's one of the common mistakes I also noticed with some of the professionals on LinkedIn when they're trying to sell the product and services. They go into the hard sell mode. That's not the way to do it, yeah. The way you want to do it today is that you want to build it in such a way that the selling comes in naturally through the content and through the engagement. So it's very much a social selling activity, okay? So imagine this, you want to get people to be at the meeting, right? Being convinced that they are already at least 50% convinced that you are there to support them with solving their problems. So you want them to be in that mindset before they come to the meeting with you, okay? But what are the activities that we need to do before the meetings? These are the 9 pillars that you need to take a look into, okay? Now, this is the marketing effort of it. For me, the first 3 part of this is all about self-management, okay? The self-management is one of the most important aspects when you want to be seen as a thought leader, when you want to be seen as an authority on the LinkedIn platform, okay? So the first part is personal power. Why is this important? This is you doing your own self-management and so managing your own conversation about I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I think that other people are better than me. You know, all of this conversation that needs to be busted early on, right? Because for me, when you wanted to build your authority on the LinkedIn platform, the first thing that you need to put into your mind is that this is a long marathon. It is not just a 1 week initiative, a 1 month stuff, and then after that you can just abandon it. You want to see authority building and brand building as a journey, right? So you're gonna be involved in this in the long run, and if you really want to get that potential opportunities, right? Look at this game as a long run game. So not just 1 year you're gonna be there for quite some time. And I truly believe in this, because what we also noticed is that in 2020, when COVID happens, you have a group of people that started to go into LinkedIn, start to create content. But when the economy started to open up, people just kind of like diluted and stopped their discipline. Okay, and they are losing the opportunity because in 2020 they were in that desperation mode where they wanted to go out there and just build content, create content, being seen, but they are not consistent enough doing it. So most important part, number one, personal power, most important. You need to tell yourself that this is a long game. You need to start setting your goal. Second part is about setting your purpose. Why are you on LinkedIn? Why is this important to you? Right? Why is this important? Because when you're creating your content on LinkedIn, when you're starting on your journey, there will be ups and downs. There will be time that you create your content and then you will hear crickets. People not engaging with your content, and then after that you will start punishing yourself and start asking why is it that people are not engaged, right? So stay true to the purpose, that at the end of the day I'm doing this for a reason, because if you do not have a purpose, you will definitely get burnt out when you don't put a strategy in place, right? I hope that all of you can write this down. One of the biggest lesson I got from my mentor before this is that when you want to operate your business today and start to position yourself online, you need to start to act as if you are a media company. That's one of the best advice that I got from my mentor, right? So your marketing effort on LinkedIn should be part of your client acquisition process if that is something that you are passionate at, right? For professionals, look at this from a long game, right? The thing about being visible on LinkedIn is that it creates a lot of opportunity for you. Yeah. Then once you are clear on your self-management, the third part is your positioning, right? Which is to understand your niche. We have a lot of people that's working with us, and I'm going to give like very simple example on this. Insurance agents. We have like insurance agents, financial planners who is currently our student and also working with us. One of the biggest challenge that I have when I work with a lot of insurance agents and financial planners is that when I ask them a question, who do you work with, and who's your target clients? The typical response that I got from them is, anybody who would want to buy my solution. That is not the best way for you to position yourself. You want to be able to have to look for a niche for yourself, right? So if you are serving women, right, professional women, be more specific. When you say professional woman, which industry are we talking about? Yeah, what would be the main thing that they will be focusing on? What are some of the challenges and problems that they have? So you want to list that down. You want to really dive deep into one of the pain points that they have, because when you understand the pain point, when you understand what are some of the problems that these people are going through, this will become part of your content team, right? So positioning is not just about understanding your ideal client, it's also about understanding what is your niche market, so that when you're communicating your content on LinkedIn, you will be speaking to them directly, right? Now, platform number 4, it's not just about choosing the right platform for you, but it's also about understanding the whole entire process on how the platform works. The algorithm on LinkedIn is very different from all the other social media platforms. I give you one simple example. If you use hashtag, right? In Instagram, you will require to have at least about 30 hashtags to make sure that the content can go viral. But on LinkedIn, in 2023, they just changed the algorithm again, and you should not be focusing on anything more than 5 hashtags. So every platform have their own rules. What are the rules of engagement for LinkedIn? This is something that you want to understand as well. Also understand the culture of the platform, right? We had one of our connections who just got banned from LinkedIn, I think about 2 weeks ago, because the way she puts her content on LinkedIn, It's very much political in nature, and people are not comfortable with that. If you want to go into like politics and religion and all that, maybe perhaps this is not the best platform for you. You maybe want to go into TikTok or Facebook, right? So understand those kind of limitations. Understand the strength of it, right? So that's the fourth part. And then once you have already put everything in place, right? The platform, you understand the platform, you need to build the profile, make sure that your profile is optimized and also humanized. One of the biggest problem that I noticed that when it comes to LinkedIn profile is that a lot of people, when they create their LinkedIn profile, is designed in a resume centric method. So go back to why are you in LinkedIn in the first place? If you are an entrepreneur and you are there because you want to build more leads for your business, then you should create your profile in such a way that is designed for people to see the profile as if the profile is a landing page. That's one of the things you want to take a look into. Yeah. If you are designing a profile so that you can get more jobs, then you turn it into a resume-centric profile. So the intention of the profile, you need to be very clear with it from the start, because when you're clear about it, then it will also follow the design as well. Okay. So profile needs to be up and ready, because why? When you're connecting to people, when you're doing your post, okay, they will always go back to your profile to check you out. Okay, so when they go into the profile and then they see something that they do not like or the profile is incomplete, that's your online reputation. Okay, so make sure that your profile is up and ready. Make sure that you connect with people on a daily basis. I would always suggest that if you're just starting, at least go to minimum 5 new connections daily, but don't just connect with people, but engage with conversation, right? Be social for a while. We call it a social media platform for a reason. You want people to be social. Yeah. If I were to choose between networking first and creating content first, and I just want to get comfortable, which one would I recommend people to do first? I always encourage people to network first. Why? Because creating content is a skill that you develop over time, right? If you have low connections, you start connecting with people and start to create your content bit by bit. In a way, you are harnessing your skill at the same time. And if you make any mistake, it's okay because you have lesser number of connections, right? So it's part of the process that you just have to go through. Yeah. Now, the last 3 part is basically the selling part, right? On how to actually get people to engage with you online, and then how do you move them from online conversation into offline conversation. The persuade part, what you do is this is where you want to learn the skill on how to communicate with people via DM, direct messaging. Okay, and I am quite surprised that a lot of people do not know how to do this. A lot of people like to spam people on LinkedIn. How many of you have actually received some form of spam before, where people send their first message to you and immediately they wanted to sell something to you? Let me know in the comment if you received that before. Type yes if you receive any form of selling on LinkedIn before this. Yeah, Rabah, you get that a lot, right?
Yeah. Minta kerja, asking for job immediately.
Exactly. It's like on the first message itself, they're already sending you, hey, I have this product, blah, 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 and then they use bots and all that. So that is such a turn off, guys. If there's one thing that I want to emphasize of what not to do on LinkedIn is doing all of that. Okay, it is detrimental to your personal brand. Don't do that. I always believed in the idea of building rapport first, qualifying the client, then only inviting them. Selling only comes when they come and meet you, not online. When you are online, what you want to do is that you want to learn the art of persuasion, learning on how to actually use DM properly so that you'll be able to build rapport, qualify the clients, and then invite them. Yeah. So once you understand that part, then Pilot and Profit. Pilot is basically understanding what are some of the tools that you can use to automate certain processes so that you can duplicate yourself and you don't have to spend too much time on LinkedIn, right? When you are just starting, you will start to realize that, hey, you know what? I'm spending 1 hour, 2 hours on LinkedIn daily. I think that's too much time to spend on LinkedIn. Yeah. So there are ways on how you can automate certain processes. And this is something that we teach our students as well. For me, step 8 and step 9 comes in a bit later, right? You focus on the fundamental of the first 7 steps first. When you create content consistently, you know how to persuade people, and you can invite them, that's half of the battle done, right? And if
Nice.
creating profit is what something you're looking for, this is the step that I would recommend for you.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. I mean, I'm sure the audience, they get a glimpse of this structured, systematic process, which took you years. I'm sure you have done mistakes at the early stage of LinkedIn.
I did.
For
In fact,
you,
what I'm gonna do is, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to get some present for me? I'm gonna give you guys a present. Okay. So the present is, if you scan this, you will be able to download an ebook and also a webinar that I created specifically on this one particular topic. Okay.
wonderful.
So I actually detailed down the step-by-step process in terms of what you need to do in the ebook itself, and I'm giving this over to you guys for free.
Thank you so much. I mean, it looks 9 simple steps, but I'm sure it took years and years and hard work and effort and commitment and contribution from many people, including your own coaches, in order to come up with these 9 steps. Brilliant. I mean, thank you very much. You briefly shared about the idea about building your credibility once we started. I have some friends who ask this question again. Can you share your wisdom once people go in, especially the one with the imposter syndrome, and more so experts? They have this worry, perhaps. What is your suggestion for? And I understand you did mention building marathon. It takes time, but
Yeah.
what is your suggestions in order to build credibility?
Okay. It's like going to the gym, right? The biggest mistake that people do when they go to the gym is that they decided to go full-fledged and go all out and go to the gym like 5 times a day, and then 1 week after that they decided that this is one of the worst thing that I've ever done to myself, right? So look at your authority building activity as one small step on a daily basis. Okay. My recommendation, if for you to become big on LinkedIn and for you to be able to get more visibility, daily content works. Yeah, that means you are posting like at least 5 to 7 times in a week. If you are able to do that, I can tell you from experience, you will be able to be seen very fast because of the consistency. Okay, but you need to balance it. Yeah, why do I say you need to balance it? Understand that the LinkedIn platform will also punish you if you created more than one content in a day. Okay, so there was this study that's been done in terms of the algorithm on LinkedIn, and one of the things that we realized is that for every content that you post, you want to give that content at least about 8 hours of time, 18 hours of time. Sorry, 18, 18 of time for it to nurture before you create another content. So I always advise don't have like 2, 3, 5 content in a day. That's one of the worst advice that people can give you when it comes to engagement on LinkedIn. So if you can't do 7, ask yourself what will be a win number for you. So we had like one of our latest student. His name is Janet. Janet is a culture consultant who works with us. She just recently just enrolled with us, and she came to us and said, "I mean, I am so uncomfortable to put myself online. How can I start small? Start small. Do 1 content a week. Would that be a win for you?" Okay. So do something that you are comfortable with, while at the same time learn to develop the skill bit by bit. My encouragement to newbies is that content comes in second, connection comes in first, right? Because from the connection, these are some of the things that you will get. If you are connected to some of these influencers on LinkedIn, you will be able to see some of their content, and that will inspire you to create your own content as well. Because you are still at the stage where you are looking for your voice. You're looking for what is the best way for you to be able to create content, right? Looking at examples, taking a look at how people do it, that is actually part of the content creation journey. For you to be able to create good content, you also need to learn to consume content, right? When you consume good content, it inspires you to start writing more, then you start to do more. So recommendation number 1, First month, do one content a week. Second month, start doing 2. Okay. Once you get the hang of it, then start doing 3. Okay. If that's too much for you, then be consistent with 3 for a while until you say that you want to challenge yourself, then go for 4. Okay. And then start to experiment with different type of content. I know that today's session is all about writing article on LinkedIn, but I think LinkedIn has so much potential that article is not the only way for you to create content. There are polls, simple polls. That could be your first few content as well, just by creating polls, right? Carousels where you share pictures and some tips. That could be one of the way to do it. If you dare to go live on LinkedIn, go ahead and do live. This is just part of the learning process. Everything for you to go to gear 5 when you're driving, you cannot neglect the idea of going to gear 1 first. So you must go to gear 1 first before you go to gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, right? So the advice I always tell people who are just starting, don't overanalyze stuff. Don't procrastinate too much. The more you procrastinate, I can guarantee you this, you will not be doing anything, right? Just do your first post, be done with it, okay? And then get involved in engagement. And then after that, fight another battle. Next week, do another one, and do another one, right? And in the meantime, as you're doing that, engage, comment on other people's posts, because those engagement will actually help you in the content creation later. When you have more content, you already have a good habit of establishing the engagement activity, and you will start to see that people are more tuned to engage with you because you are willing to engage in their posts. So it's a give and take kind of thing when it comes to content creation. Yeah. I hope that helps. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
what this
definitely.
well said. I just want to get this up.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I like your analogy of going to gym. Don't get excited. The first week of the year, everybody have this New Year resolution, and they're all gym is packed. But by second or third month, it's not. So it's a brilliant idea, and I really like when you started. You said, "Hey, start with one post. It could be even a poll." So just get started and be among the 1% or increase that 1% to the next possible number and be one of those who are adding that. And I'm sure the audience here, many of us, or rather many of the friends who are listening to us, they are expert in their own field. I know academics, professionals, board members, entrepreneurs, students, as I mentioned. This could be a first start, right? And don't miss the opportunity to scan this QR code and get those 9 tips. That's amazing. I have benefited a lot from it and experience it. Then you tell Samantha about it, right? So, I mean, this is brilliant in terms of establishing that. And from your experience of helping thousands of people, I'm sure you have seen someone who is so thin and struggling to carry weight and become a good weightlifter, and with a 6-packs analogy of LinkedIn, someone who's been struggling to write a post and consistently follow the steps and seek your advice and get help from other friends in the community, and they benefited. Can you share some of these success stories, Amin?
Okay. I can. Maybe what I do is I'll go to one of the slides where I have let's talk about. Okay, so this is Viv, by the way. Viv is one of our top performing students.
Our picture is Vivian's in. You are showing Vivian.
Yeah, I'm showing Vivian. Yes. So this is Vivian. When she came to us, it was somewhere at the end of 2020 during the pandemic lockdown. So she attended one of the sharing session that was actually conducted online, and she is a financial planner, right? So as a financial planner, one of the method that she used to do when it comes to getting more clients is through referrals, right? And this is something that I noticed that a lot of financial planners will have to go through. The moment you exhausted your warm leads, then you start to realize, what do I need to do next, right? Is there any way that I can get new leads? Is there any way that I can basically build my business? Because she was actually thinking of actually going back to work, because before she came to us, she was at this stage in her life where she was not closing so much deals for her business. Yeah. So she took the lead, came to our program. Took her about a year to develop her mastery. Yeah. And Viv is somebody who does not even thought about putting herself online. She's not very comfortable with the idea. She doesn't know how to do copywriting. She doesn't know how to get sales via LinkedIn. And for her, it's a totally new thing, right? And I told her this is something that you might want to do instead of doing something that a lot of these other people, you don't share anything to do with sales at all. You're not going to be selling anything. You're only going to do, so out of, I give her a framework. Out of the 20 content that you do in a month, only 5% of those content are direct sales content. That's all you need to do. The rest of it, what I want you to do is to focus on sharing personal stuff. Okay. So she took the method that we teach her, and the method that she teaches her, if you take a look at some of her posts, right, you will see some of this strange stuff on her LinkedIn posts. She talks about her car because car is a passion. She talks about her family. She talks about her point of view of what life is. And her strength is the ability to camouflage the content in such a way that it is not a direct selling content, but in a way she's advising people about financial planning through her post. That's the game that you want to do in LinkedIn, guys. It's all about camouflage, right? You don't want to create content where you go directly and say, hey, you know what? I'm selling this. This is what I'm selling right now. This is what I do for you. Come and buy the product for me. That's not the way to do content. Okay? The way to do content is that you want to focus on amplifying certain areas. Like one of the examples is to focus on the pain point of the clients, the pain point of the people that you're trying to convince. What are the challenges that they're going through at this moment, right? Second part is once you have gone into the pain point, then focus on the solution. Simple solution that they can use, right? Now, the other trick that I always teach to our student is number one, whatever you do, the first two to three line of your post is the most important part because that's the hook. So you want to hook people to stop and read your post, okay? So you want to get people to stop and read your post. So that's why your headline is very, very important. The picture that you choose is also very, very important because it gets people to stop scrolling. Right now, what we do is that we are in the battle of getting people to stop scrolling, right? Once you get people to stop scrolling, what do you do next? The next thing that you want to do is that you want to get them to continuously want to read your content, right? So we have like some strategies on how to do this. Maybe perhaps I'll share you that strategy a bit later, yeah? So if we take a look at Viv's content, most of the time, her objective is never to sell. It's either to inspire engagement, right? To get people to want to connect with her through the content. Okay, if there is any sales that comes in, it comes in because they were confident that she's the person that is the best person to suit them. Yeah. So she does a lot of personal stories. And when it comes to personal stories, I hope that you guys can print screen this later. Make sure that your face is there. Why? If you did a neuro-linguistic programming before, this one of the principles of neuro-linguistic programming is that people want to see, people like to buy from people that they like. And showing your face is actually one of the ways for you to create that likability. Yeah. So show your face on LinkedIn. It actually does work. Yeah. So the first two sentences needs to draw an audience. Also, one of the things that Vivian does with the content that is super efficient and effective is that she will name the audience whenever she talks to them. Like example of statement. The other day I was talking to one of the business owner about the idea of putting her staff into doing financial planning. So that's naming the audience. Because she said that the other day I was talking to a business owner. So that particular post is designed specifically for business owners, right? So naming the audience gets the audience to want to read it. Yeah. Another thing that happens in the content is that she always use a storytelling like method, where she always initiate it with some form of context in terms of what the problem is. And at the same time, from time to time, she will also show credibility in the post as well. And a very simple call to action towards the end. The call to action in the content most of the time is just to get people to engage. So sometimes she will end it with a question like, what do you think about this? Right? If you were in this situation, what would you do? So those are engagement questions. Call to action, you have to remember that when it comes to call to action, you do not want it to be complicated. When you make complicated call to action, people who are there for the first time engaging with you, is too much of a responsibility for them to want to engage. So make it simple for them. Yeah. Ideal post for her, most of the time she does a lot of long posts between 1,002 to 1,600 character in the post itself. So roughly that's about 15 to 20 lines. These are some of the standard practice that I noticed when Viv is creating a content. Yeah. I hope that helps. I think there's a lot more stuff, but my recommendation, ladies and gentlemen, if it's possible, do check out Vivian's, do connect with Vivian and study her post. And there's a lot of things that you can learn from her post itself. Yeah.
Sure. Thanks, Amin. And I, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you also get into Amin's LinkedIn and request for connection. If you're lucky, you will get connected. Take this opportunity. All right. And I mean, there's a question from the audience. Thank you very much. We are seeing some good questions. One of the audience here asks, should you accept every connection that arrives on LinkedIn? Some are really just trying to sell. Do you accept every connection or do you filter first?
Okay, that's a good question. I'm gonna give you a rationale for this so that you decide on your own. Okay. Okay. My rationale for connections is that the person that I'm connected to might not be my client, but the person that his or her network could become my connections, right? So I always aim for those who have high connection and are active on LinkedIn, right? That's my aim, okay? Why is that? Okay, here's one of the secrets that a lot of people don't realize when it comes to LinkedIn that makes LinkedIn a very special platform. So Prabha right now and me are connected on LinkedIn, okay? So let's just say Prabha were to create a content on LinkedIn today, and I decide to connect and engage with Prabha's content. What will happen is that Prabha's content will also be seen. There's a possibility that that content will be seen by my connection. So I have about 20,000 connections right now, right? So imagine the possibility of that. So Prabha is creating content, I'm commenting on it, but because I'm commenting on that, the other 20,000 people will be able to see that. And if any one of those 20,000 connections see that post and they got excited with that post and they go to that content, the same content, and start engaging with that content too, their connections will be able to see Prabha's content. So there's a viral effect there, right? So I want that viral effect. So one of the criteria that I always take a look into when I'm connecting with people is that I want to see they are active on LinkedIn. I want to see that they also have a number of connections that could become my potential clients, or they could bring possibility for me. You never know, right? Your network is your net worth. I think you guys have heard that before, right? So for me, it's all about building up my network, building up my connections so that I'll be able to get more visibility. Yeah. Now, of course, there are bad apples. Okay. Of course, there are bad apples. People who are trying to come to you and sell stuff, right? But nowadays, I learn to have fun with that. So whenever they try to sell something to me, I'll just engage with them and just literally just tell them, I'm not going to buy this product from you, but I'm curious to know more about your activity on LinkedIn, because right now, what's more interesting for me is not your product. I want to be engaged with your activity. So we still become good friends, right? But if you notice that someone is very dodgy, okay, they are basically there for their own agenda. They're just going to spam you. Of course, you don't accept that, right? Because at the end of the day, you only have a maximum of 30,000 connections on LinkedIn. So you want to make sure that those 30,000 connections are quality leads as well. But yeah, so based on my rationale, I think you can make your own decision on this. Rather than me trying to tell you what it is, if you ask me personally, that's my criteria. They are engaged, they are active, they have connections. I want to be part of the team.
Nice, nice. I really like that. Yeah. Your net worth is your network, and the immediate person may not be your target, but they may have connection that is worth exploring. And you can share your content and you can consume their content. In the process of sharing and commenting, our networks get bigger, our ideas get shared, and we can impact more people. Beautiful. I mean, thank you very much for that brilliant idea. And there's another interesting question here. What are your thoughts on personalized video messaging as an initial introduction with the aim of request for information?
Okay, so this is a very good question. When you say personalized video messaging on your profile, or are you talking about actually creating video content? But I'm going to answer based on both. Yeah. For me, personalized video message really works. I love it. In fact, there are apps that's available out there. I forget what the app is called. When you can create customized, personalized message and you can actually just send it to people. If you have that in mind, do that, because you will be seen as someone that's very different compared to most of the people that send their message on LinkedIn, right? I like one thing that I really like about personalized video message or voice messages. When I receive that on my DM, it shows that you take the effort. So when it shows that you take the effort, I want to know you more, yeah, rather than just sending me a text message. So if you have that in mind, go and do it. Okay, I would really recommend you to do it. I do that as well from time to time. Yeah. Now, when it comes to video content on LinkedIn, I would personally suggest that for you to create video content, focus on building the normal, typical copywriting first. Why? Because we noticed that for 2023, video content might not be a very good content to be seen by more people. That's the one flaw that I noticed about LinkedIn in comparison to TikTok and all the other platform out there. LinkedIn is not so. They are not really the platform for video. But when you have, but again, when you already have like enough connection and your video is good, I've seen some of my theory been proven wrong, where the video can actually go viral. Yeah. But just to start, I always go with the normal copywriting and also picture. I think that's good enough. If you want to go into video content on LinkedIn, just be aware that for the first few rounds of your video, the engagement will be very low. Just be okay with that, because you're still trying to find your voice at the same time.
Nice, nice, wonderful. I mean, thank you very much for the ebook. It's in the chat, and the 16 pages of wisdom of years of experience. I would strongly encourage anyone who is, especially the 9P, has been beautifully explained by Amin. Thanks a lot, Amin. And there's another something that I'm excited about is, yes, we are actively involved in LinkedIn. We are getting our profile written. We are getting high quality connection, etc., etc. And after all that, how do I know my success? What are the indicators? What are the measure of success for us to review? Are we going in the right direction?
Okay.
Share your thoughts, I mean.
I measure success differently. I measure success based on the business results. That's how it's here. Yeah. Because one of the biggest lessons that I also got from over the years is that comments and like doesn't pay the bills.
Exactly.
Right? Comments and like encourage engagement that will contribute to the leads. Yeah. So I look into so if you take a look at the 9P just now, where the profit comes in, it's always the conversion rate, right? The conversion rate of the activity that you do on LinkedIn. So let's just say if you create one content today, how many conversations was created from that particular content? Do you manage to have like one networking site? You managed to meet with one person that could become a potential client, or was there any opportunity that was created because of that? So I'm very much looking into the business results of things. rather than just looking into the likes and comment. Because for me, those are vanity metrics. Yeah. Why do I say that? There's this thing also called engagement pods on LinkedIn, where what people do is that they actually have a group of people that they are working with, right? Because they understand that the LinkedIn algorithm works like this. Yeah? The first 1 hour of your engagement or on your content on LinkedIn is very important. So when you post a content on LinkedIn, in that first 1 hour, if there is no engagement happening, what will happen is that LinkedIn will bring your post down and they will not be showing it to other people, right? Because in the eyes of LinkedIn, they will look at that post and they will judge that that post is not a very good post. So I will not be showing that post to anybody else, right? So that's why you got like really bad engagement sometimes because it's not going viral. Yeah. So what people do to hack that is that they create all of these groups called the pods, and whenever they post something, they will go to the pod and say, "Hey guys, can you comment on this?" So that I will also be commenting on your post, right? So it's a method to hack things up. It's a very good method for beginners, but not a good method for a very long period of time. Because for a long period of time, what you want to do is that you want to be able to have an organic reach to your post. Yeah. So people do that, and that's the reason for me. So when I look into engagement, I always ask this question back: yeah, are this real engagement or are this fake engagement? If it's real engagement, that's great. If it's fake engagement, it's not going to pay the bills. So what's going to pay the bill is, at the end of the day, is the meeting they're going to have, right? Is the opportunity that was created from all of this activity that you have on LinkedIn. So I'm very much a result guy, Prabha. So that's
Nice. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Yeah. I'm sure the audience, including me, would like to learn a little bit more tips before reading the ebook at least. What are some of your proven method, either you directly or your large group of students for years? What are some of the strategy that works in order to bring the conversation to the conversion,
okay.
translate that into business results? If you may share some thoughts, please.
Okay, I'm going to share another case study because I think we learn a lot from case studies, right?
Exactly.
So this is Jeffrey. Jeffrey is a close friend of mine. I've known Jeffrey for more than 20 years. That's how long I've known Jeffrey. Yeah. He's one of the few key people that brought me to the training industry, right? And I was honored that he decided to want to come to the program with us. So Jeffrey, what he did, I think one of the most important thing that I learned from Jeffrey is the power of consistency. So since 2020, when the pandemic happened, Jeffrey has been creating content non-stop, at least a minimum of 3 to 4 content in a week on all of his social media platform, right? So he created a simple 1-minute video where he will talk about his philosophy of life, his view on what life is, and that kind of like bring a lot of eyeball into him, because a lot of the time when he creates content, it's very much relatable to the common Joe. You want to create content that is relatable. That's number one. So key number one is consistency. Number two is relatability, right? So when he joined us about in 2020, he was practically unknown in the industry, but right now, today, his training calendar is quite full, which is great. Okay, so he's started to create consistent content on LinkedIn, and his schedule is now packed. And also because of a few things that he does. Yeah, so I'm going to show you this one post that he created somewhere in Ramadan month last year. Because what happened is that I noticed that he repurposed his content again this month, a few weeks ago. for some reason, it didn't work as much as last year, but still get some eyeball as well. So what he did in his post, I don't know if you can read this. He basically tells a story about what happened to him in one of his training programs, where he was conducting a training during the Ramadan month and people were fasting. And he's Chinese, he's not Muslim. Yeah. And he went to one of the states in Malaysia, in Terengganu, where majority are Malay Muslim. They are fasting. They have this huge culture of breaking fast together in a family, breaking fast together with friends. So he was delivering training in that month. So he turned that into a story. And he said that in that particular post, that people were asking him, why is it that you, a non-Muslim, wanted to fast on a Ramadan month during training. You don't have to, right? So in this post, he shared this idea that, I'm doing it because I want to be part of I want to be part of the crowd. I want to feel how my participant is feeling, because then I can match their energy. And then at the same time, when I'm doing it, it creates no excuse for them to not be participating in the training program, because I'm also fasting. So he shared that thought, right? And what's interesting about it is that this one particular post went viral. I think about 300,000 views on LinkedIn, with jobs coming in, because what he is doing here, again, this is the power of deceptions. It's all about finding ways to give value by telling personal story. By telling this story, he is showcasing his value. That as a trainer, as a facilitator, these are my value, and this is what I do. So it's a self-promotion done in a very inspiring way. So this is something that you can learn to do as well. At the end of the day, it's how you craft the content in such a way that people can relate to the content. All right. Yeah, I hope that helps. Okay.
Yeah, of course. Jeffrey, so something that I learned, if I can summarize it in 3 steps: consistency and relatable to common people in Terengganu and in Malaysia and many parts of the world. Fasting and respecting the audience and be aware of their feeling, their energy level, etc. That is very, very relatable and bring value. If the post is consistent, relatable, and bring value, engagement will be a natural consequences. Brilliant. I mean, I love that. We have briefly spoke about some of the mistakes. We have another 15-20 minutes or so. My friends, please, this is a great opportunity. There are some questions coming. If you have more questions, please ask. We may have a bit more time to answer more questions. But perhaps you'd like to remind us again, I mean, what are, from your experience, what are some of the common mistakes people make on LinkedIn? You did mention about immediately selling and so on. That's one significant mistake. What are others that you like us to, you like to remind us rather?
Second part that I would, so I like to emphasize the importance of not doing hard selling on any social media platform, right? Because we call it social media, not selling media. So that is very, very much important. A lot of people now, you just imagine this: you're shopping, you are going on a walk in a shopping mall, and then there are scenario where people will come to you and say, "Hey, would you like to enroll for my credit card?" Most of the time, what do we do with that? We kind of like just neglect them and say, "No, we're not going to do it." Yeah. What you need to focus on instead. So I want to look into the solution as well. Yeah. So rather than selling, spend more time building rapport. That's what your focus should be. Building rapport, and also qualifying the clients or the people that you have on LinkedIn. Some of them might become a client, some of them may not, right? And the way you deal with those people who will not become your client matters. So one of the things that I do when it comes to people who may not become a client is that I will nurture them. I will give them more value, because they might not be the person that will buy my product now. It could be just time. Yeah. So do you have a strategy to nurture the clients? This is something that you want to start looking into. Yeah. The second thing that you want to take a look into is that as you are also looking into nurturing, is there any other possibility that can be created rather than just the sale? So some of the things that I do on LinkedIn is that sometimes I will introduce people to people. Hey, what do you do today? What do you do right now? Hey, you know what? I know somebody that can actually help you with this. Would you like me to introduce you to that person? Because of that activity that I did, it increases my authority and also increases trust as well. Because for people, when they see that, they start to realize, hey, you know what? I mean, it's not just about selling popcorn stuff. He will get you to the people that can give you results. So become the guy who will connect people. That could be one of it. Yeah. So again, rather than selling, become someone that can inspire, become someone that can connect people and nurture your clients. That's it. Yeah. Second thing that I feel that is a mistake is that going back to the early conversation about working out in the gym, you cannot lose 10 kilo by just going to the gym once. Okay. You cannot lose that extra weight by just doing one single activity and then expect for miracle to happen. The real game is consistency. I would always advise students that I would rather see that you do one content per week rather than doing 3 content per week and then next week you disappear. Right? So it's better that you focus on one and then make it consistent. So if you already done consistency in terms of the day, let's just say you decided to post on a Wednesday. Every Wednesday the day is going to post. Make it consistent overall, right? Consistent in terms of the theme of your content. So let's just say every Wednesday you decided that I want to share about marketing. Every Wednesday at 10 a.m. I'm going to talk about marketing. I'm going to share my point of view of what marketing is. Then be consistent with that as well. Consistent with the messaging, consistent with the timing, consistent in everything that you do. You want to build that rigor first, right? So that's the second thing that I always encourage people to do, right? Focus on the consistency. And the third thing is this: experiment. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to experiment, because what I notice is that a lot of the time when people experiment on something and they fail, they immediately give up after that. Remember again, the reason why you're doing this is because this is a long-term game. You cannot drive a car in the first run. Remember when you first learned to drive a car, right? How difficult it was? Look at it from that angle. You are just going through that phase. You just want to get rid of that phase so that you can become a better driver. So go to that phase, deal with it, have fun with it, and then you can become better in what you're doing. Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, love it. Not selling, but build rapport. Even to those who are not your ideal client, add value. Nurture them. Not necessarily immediately, but they could be your potential. Or end of the day, you get the joy of helping someone with your wisdom. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant. Don't just sell and sell and sell. And just like Jim, don't get excited for over the weekend or beginning of the year. Consistency. And I like that. Instead of doing 3 posts immediately, with excitement, break it and do it once a week and slowly build the skill. And when things are not working, that could be a data point for us to reflect and figure out and how to get help. I mean, we have listened to more than 1 hour of wisdom of many years packed in 1 hour. But if there are people who wants to know more or people who wants to seek help, how can you help our audience, either who are now, and I'm sure this recording will be going everywhere. What is your suggestion? How can you help our audience to enhance the LinkedIn presence and optimize this amazing platform?
Excellent question. So today, what I do is that just as a way for me to create more value for the people that's connecting to me. By the way, I'm just gonna kind of like promote my own LinkedIn page. I kind of forgot to do that earlier. So if you want to connect with me, look for Yandaro Alamin, right, on LinkedIn. If you guys send me a message, a DM, and say hi to me, I'm going to give you guys another gift. Okay. I have tons of resources that I'm willing to give it away for free. So get connected to me on LinkedIn, say hi to me, and then guys, I will have conversation with you, and then I'll just say, so what's the biggest struggle that you have right now? Okay, if this is your biggest struggle, I'll send you something. Okay, so that's my promise. Okay, my promise is if you guys get connected to me on LinkedIn, I will definitely be giving you some prizes. Okay. Second thing that I also do is that I also run a Facebook group that is designed specifically for entrepreneurs and professionals who wants to build their authority online. Okay. Now, some of you will be asking, why is it that you decided to go with Facebook group instead of LinkedIn group? Okay, I have to confess, LinkedIn group is not the best. Okay, there's certain element in LinkedIn group that I really do not like, and after doing and really in-depth research into it, I personally feel that when it comes to community group, Facebook is still the best way to do it. So what I do in the Facebook group is that every once a week, I will run a live 1 hour training session, just basically just to give value to people. So yeah, you're encouraged to just come and join the Facebook group. There's a lot of activity inside there. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of guide inside there as well. So we give away a lot of free stuff in here. So come and join this group. Yeah. Other than that, yeah, just get connected to me. I would love to answer any of the questions that you have. Because I also noticed that there are a few questions here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, friends, you have, Facebook group, LinkedIn, and I remember you may get more value. I like the idea of getting free gift. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I have this one interesting question by Stacy. Thanks a lot, Stacy. How do you think AI will impact LinkedIn with artificially created engagement and content?
I am so in love with AI right now. You have no idea how much I'm in love with it because it cuts my time into half. that's what I like about it. Okay. One thing that I also like, there's a lot of AI tool out there that can really enhance your experience when it comes to creating content on LinkedIn. In fact, tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m., I'm actually running a 2 hours workshop on how to utilize ChatGPT and to leverage ChatGPT on LinkedIn. I'm running that tomorrow. If you guys are interested, join the Facebook group. There's more detail about it later. Yeah. So for me, AI is brilliant because it can help you to cut your job into more than 2/3 of what you do. Yeah. Imagine having AI as your intern, that a very capable intern that will be able to do everything that you ask them to do. That's the power of AI. Yeah, it helps you in creating content. It helps you to do research. Like for me, I use ChatGPT to create my content schedule. I use ChatGPT as a way for me to do my research for content, to understand the customer pain point, even to draft the initial content that I create today, right? Now, here's something that I also want to give like a fair warning in terms of AI. AI can do only so much, but the one thing that they cannot replace you at this moment, okay, is the human factor. Where once you if you manage to get the AI to support you in your content creation, it is your responsibility to not cut and paste the AI into an actual content. You want to humanize the content in such a way that when you write it, it sounds as if you are speaking, not the AI speaking. Very important. This is very important because I've been noticing this trend on LinkedIn where even people now, when they are commenting on content, they are also using ChatGPT. Please don't do that, right? Use normal human language. Be as interactive as you can be and just be you. This is very important when it comes to utilizing AI.
Nice. AI, remember, I love the analogy, intern. A smart intern, yet it is intern. That's what it's called, artificial. I'm sure we want to be authentic, not artificial. But I love the idea of the value, the initial work that intern can do so that you optimize your time for more high-end, high value-added activity, like what Amin said, humanizing it. Brilliant, Amin. There's another question here. If your page or company is mostly about selling, for instance, job opportunities in terms of content and methods, you would still have to sell, right? So what would you suggestion for companies, their business is selling, how do they create content which don't seems like too much selling?
Okay, I think this is a common mistake when it comes to creating content, is that they think only like one dimension on selling. So I will only like create like a direct content that says, hey, you know what, we have this program happening, so come and sign up for this, or we have this opening for the company, come and sign up and apply for it, right? That's very one dimensional. But the thing about your company, there's so many angles or topic that you can talk about. So rather than promoting the job, why not you look into promoting the culture of the company? Why not you look into promoting the people that is in the company? That can become an aspiration for you to create content, right? So example, if you are, I have one of our client who is the chief cultural officer of one of the biggest telco in Malaysia, right? And when he wanted to create content on LinkedIn, he was hesitant in the beginning because he doesn't see it from an angle of, there are so many angles they can talk about. Once he sees it, he's like super active on LinkedIn today. It's like every single thing can become a content for him, and that's true. Everything in the company, it can be used as a content. Don't create content. Document the journey. That's how you want to see it. When you are coming from an angle of documenting, then anything could possibly become a content that can be put on LinkedIn to promote the culture, promote the people, and once in a while, if you have a job opening, you can talk about it, right? Promote the vendor, promote the event, promote the activity. There's just so many things they can talk about the company. Yeah. So don't just look at it as just selling. Document, right?
Lovely. I mean, document the journey. So in this case, instead of selling the job opportunity, perhaps document the success story, somebody who through this process and what the impact that it created. I'm lovely. Recalling what Amin said, humanize the contact, create the emotion. Brilliant. I love it. And there's another interesting question. Can we remove existing connection who are not value adding and not belonging to the industry that we are focused on, specifically dormant ones, so that we can focus only relevant connection?
You can. It's based on free will. You are in total control of your platform. So if there are certain people that you do not like, you can remove them. It shouldn't be a problem. Just go to their profile and click remove connection. It's simple as that, and they will no longer be able to see you.
Oh, okay, brilliant idea. Yeah, there could be unfortunately some toxic environment within our LinkedIn, and it's just our job to do the cleansing.
Yeah. So actually, right before you want another method on how to do this, there are certain times when before you want to remove them, spend some time into their profile, take a look at some of the activities that they have, because sometimes they are engaging with other people's content, right? That could become a potential connection for you. So before removing them, go to the profile, take a look at some of the things that you can pick, and then after that you can start removing them. This is stalking 101. We teach our students how to stalk those.
Nice. Right, my friends, we are almost at the end of the show. We have another 10 minutes. You can have one or two more questions if you want. But I love this one question here. Is it possible to build multifaceted brand? What if you are into many things? Domato, I love that question. Thank you very much.
Very, very powerful question. We have a student of us who is a woman entrepreneur. She is in her 50s, so a very powerful person. And when she came to us, she asked me this question. I have like so many business right now. Which one do you want me to promote? And I go back to her and answer this. What are you passionate about? What do you want people to see you as? Do you want people to see you as your business? Or do you want people to see you as what you are passionate at? So she took that advice, and at the end of the day, is how you communicate this. She positioned herself as a serial entrepreneur with 10 companies under her, right? And she is the spokesperson of the company. So when she is on LinkedIn, sometimes she will talk about this company, sometimes she'll talk about this company. But the way she does it is so casual in such a way that it's not that she's promoting the company, she's just talking about the behind the scene activity. I'm currently right now with this company trying to figure out how to solve this issue. Then the next day she'll be like, in this company trying to solve this issue. And that's really interesting because people got to see her personality. We are now at the age where personality selling is one of the most important things that you need to have when it comes to positioning yourself online. Yeah, people buy your personality. So when you have multiple business, don't focus on the business. You already know that you will be the face of the company, but focus on the personality that you have. Focus on what you can give to people, right? Like for my client, what she did is that she focused a lot more on entrepreneurial advice. And every time when she talks about entrepreneurship, you can see her eyes just shine because she just loved doing it, right? So ask yourself the question, what are you passionate at? And maybe that will be your branding. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. You may have your own multifaceted, be it so, but what are you passionate about? How do you add value? And how do you, like Amin keep telling, create personalized, humanized content? Wonderful, Amin. I mean, CMI is honored to have you. And before I let you go, let me ask you one question. In your opinion, how professional body like we, the Chartered Management Institute, will benefit if our members, including the board members, including the student members, including the professional members, chartered managers, the community of CMI, and all the other stakeholders associated with CMI, if they started get involved in LinkedIn, taking your advice. I hope many of them will scan the QR code and join the FB and download the ebook and get value from your vast wisdom. How CMI will benefit from LinkedIn?
You know what I really like about CMI is that CMI has a very strong culture. That's one, right? That translate into its members. So if I were to focus on the branding for CMI right now, I would really want to focus on building up the community, because for me, building community online is definitely the thing that you wanted to focus on, right? So how will this benefit the member? When you are a member of a very strong community, it will help you to also be able to leverage on the power of the community members. That's one, right? You know, in a community, you can even have like small group of people that you can work with, and you can just go to them and say, hey, can we work on a commitment group that will support us in building our authority together, right? So maybe like the 5 of you come together, the 6 of you come together and say, whenever we do posting, right, can you guys just like support me in getting the content to have more visibility? That could be one of the ways to do it. So you want to leverage on the power of community members. And one of the things that is also very powerful when it comes to social media content, right, is that if the community can actually create and harness user-generated content, that means, let's just say, Prabha, like today, I've been invited by CMI, and this is what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, in my posting on LinkedIn, I will talk about CMI, right? So it actually benefited the brand as a whole, because in my connection, they are able to see that I've been contributing to CMI as well. So there's a lot of win-win factor when it comes to having like a group of people coming together, right? And if you are a business owner or if you're a professional, maybe the aspiration right now is to start thinking about what kind of community do I want to lead in the next 5 to 10 years from now. If I want to lead a community, what would that community be about? Like for me right now, my community is about helping entrepreneurs so that they will be able to be seen on the LinkedIn platform, because I noticed that there's a lot of people out there that are superheroes and they are capable to do things, but they are just too scared to showcase themselves. That has been my vision right now. I just want to showcase them, because I feel that personally there's a lot of rubbish content outside in social media, and there's a lot of negative stuff going on. I just want to become a catalyst of all the positive stuff. So that's what my community is about. But how about your community? If you were to create your own community out there on LinkedIn, and you were to find like-minded people just like you, what will that community be talking about? What will be the game or the idea that you want to bring out, so that it can make an impact to the world? You know, yeah. So I'm a dreamer when it comes to this.
Wow. What an inspiring. And we are honored on behalf of CMI, especially our chair of the Malaysia board, Taranjit, and our friend Kishan, Dr. Kishan, our friends from CMI in UK, Jamel, and you have met Sam many times. She has been helping us in getting this event. So, my dear friends who are listening, who have been with us for more than almost 1.5 hours, thank you very much for being with us. Amin have shared his years of wisdom, the foundation of LinkedIn, the algorithm, the 9 pillar. Besides sharing it, he has been kind enough to share a wonderful ebook, and there's lots of wisdom there, and give us the opportunity to scan and join the Facebook group. And he gave wonderful tips to get started. Whether you are an expert or you are a novice, each and every one of us have something to share. You care and you have something to share. So once again, my friends, a big thanks to Amin on behalf of CMI. Amin, it has been an amazing journey for 1.5 hours. I learned so much. I have 5 pages of notes for me to memorize and learn from your sharing, Amin. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Back to you, Sam.
All right. Thank you very much. That's it for today's session. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and thank you, Major Dr. Prabha and Amin, for your insights and expertise. Don't forget, if you're a member of CMI, you can log into Management Direct using the link in the live chat, and you can find a wide range of exclusive and practical development resources and much more. If you're not yet a member or subscriber, you can join our community via the link that's also in the live chat to gain full access to our Management Direct portal. You can also sign up for free to the CMI newsletter for the latest trends and tips for managers and leaders. Thank you again for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day.